Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to instant insights. Today, we're going to unpack a really hot topic in natural language processing, sentiment analysis. So what is it exactly? Well, think about teaching machines to, understand and classify human feelings, attitudes, opinions. Are they positive, negative, neutral, even how strong that feeling is, especially from all that, messy text we create online?
That's a great way to put it. And it's definitely not just some lab experiment. Sentiment analysis is incredibly important today. You see everywhere: business, finance, politics, education, customer service.
Right.
It genuinely helps decision makers, companies understand the kind of collective mood or opinion out there.
Yeah, we hear the term thrown around a lot, but what really grabbed me in the research we looked at was this specific survey. It didn't just look at what sentiment analysis is, but how the research itself evolved over the last 20 years. How did they even map that? They used some neat techniques like keyword co-occurrence analysis.
Yeah. Which basically looks at which research terms pop up together often, revealing themes, and also community detection.
Okay, community detection.
Yeah, that helps group-related research areas. So you can see how different subfields are connected, how the whole landscape changed. It really fills a gap, I think.
Interesting. So, okay, before we get into how it evolved, maybe just quickly, why did sentiment analysis become such a big deal in the first place?
Right. Well, think about Web 2.0.
Yeah.
Suddenly you had this absolute explosion of user-generated content. Social media, reviews, blogs, just a flood of unstructured text.
Yeah, everywhere.
Exactly. And humans just can't read and make sense of all that volume. So sentiment analysis gives us the tools to actually, interpret this massive amount of opinion data.
So, faced with this data deluge, how did researchers first try to tackle it? Like before 2016, what were the main strategies?
Good question. So in the earlier phase, the research leaned heavily on traditional machine learning methods. We're talking algorithms like support vector machines, SVMs, and naive Bayes. These were often focused on, let's say, extracting specific features from the text, more statistical, maybe rule-based in some ways. They worked for certain tasks, but they often struggled with the deeper complexities and nuances of language.
Right, the subtleties. So what was the big shift around 2016? What did deep learning bring to the table that these older methods couldn't?
That's where things really took off. Deep learning technologies, things like LSTMs, long short-term memory networks, and CNNs, convolutional neural networks.
Right, I've heard of those.
Yeah, they're types of neural networks really good at processing sequences like language. And then you had models like BERT come along, which are known for understanding context much better. These deep learning approaches just became dominant.
Why? What was the advantage?
They could grasp context, ambiguity, and those subtle nuances much more effectively. It led to, frankly, significant jumps in accuracy and what you could do with sentiment analysis, things the traditional methods just weren't built for.
Okay, so the methods changed dramatically. But what about the focus of the research? Did the topics shift too? I know social media, like Twitter, seems to be a constant source.
Oh, absolutely. Social media, especially Twitter, has been a mainstay data source.
Yeah.
But yeah, other things definitely influence the focus. Take the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
There was a huge surge in sentiment analysis studies around 2020, 2021. People were pouring out their feelings, anxieties, opinions about the pandemic online, and researchers jumped on that. It became a major, major topic almost overnight.
Reflecting the real world. And I also saw something about the granularity changing, moving beyond just positive or negative for a whole document.
Exactly. Early work often looked at the overall sentiment of a document or maybe a sentence, but the trend now is strongly towards aspect level analysis.
Aspect level, meaning?
Meaning getting much more specific. So instead of just saying, this product review is negative, you can pinpoint what the user disliked. Maybe they hated the battery life, that's an aspect, but loved the camera, that's another aspect.
Oh, okay. That sounds way more useful.
It is incredibly valuable for, say, product development or targeted marketing. You get specific, actionable insights.
And it's not just happening in English anymore, right?
Definitely not. There's a really significant push into non-English languages. Think Arabic, Chinese, Spanish, Portuguese, each with its own unique linguistic challenges. Arabic, for instance, has something like 30 variants, which is a huge challenge for NLP.
Wow.
And this connects to another growing area, cross-domain sentiment analysis, trying to build models that work across different types of text, like reviews and news articles.
So let's try and pull this together. What's the big picture takeaway, the real-world value of all this evolution, and where does it go next?
Well, the practical value is clear. It helps improve products, track public opinion shifts, make customer service better, really understand what people are saying at scale. But, there are still limitations.
Like what?
Current machines, even the best ones, lack what you might call deep, true language understanding. They don't grasp semantics, context, or common sense the way humans do. So the next frontier, really, is about integrating things like human common sense knowledge, understanding specific domains better, maybe even effective reasoning, understanding the process of emotion. The goal is to get closer to human-like performance.
Quite a journey, then. From just sort of basic sorting of emotions
Yeah.
to this really ambitious goal of teaching machines to truly grasp the nuances of how humans think and feel.
It really is, and it makes you think, doesn't it? How will these ongoing improvements in sentiment analysis continue to shape how we interact with all this digital information and, maybe even how decisions get made in the future?